Cipher Keeper, the secret codebreaker behind the victory. The year was 1943, and the world was at war. Battlefields stretched across continents, and nations hung on the edge of despair and hope. But behind the cacophony of gunfire and the roar of planes, in a dimly lit room buried deep beneath the streets of London, a solitary figure sat hunched over a desk, deciphering secrets that could alter the course of history. The curious arrival. Eliza Warren was an enigma in her own right. The prodigy from a small village in the English countryside, her genius with numbers and patterns had caught the attention of her professors at Oxford. They whispered about her ability to see order in chaos, to unravel mysteries where others saw only confusion. But Eliza never sought fame or recognition. She was content solving crosswords in her garden, sipping tea, and walking her dog along the Thames. Her quiet life changed abruptly one chilly autumn morning when she received a letter stamped with the seal of the British government. The letter was curt and mysterious, summoning her to an undisclosed location with no explanation. Intrigued and slightly apprehensive, Eliza packed her modest belongings and embarked on the journey that would define her life. The destination turned out to be Bletchley Park, a sprawling estate buzzing with military personnel, mathematicians, linguists, and engineers. As Eliza stepped through its gates, she couldn't help but feel a mix of awe and trepidation. She was about to enter a world cloaked in secrecy, one where the stakes were nothing less than victory in the war. First impressions. Eliza's first days at Bletchley were overwhelming. The clattering of typewriters and the hum of the Enigma machines created a symphony of urgency. She quickly learned that her task was monumental, cracking the Axis power's encrypted messages, which changed daily. Failure meant that vital information, the locations of U-boat attacks, the timing of bombings, the plans for invasions, would remain hidden, endangering countless lives. Despite her initial nerves, Eliza's brilliance shone through. She had an uncanny ability to recognize patterns where others saw random strings of letters. It wasn't long before her colleagues nicknamed her Cipher Keeper, a nod to her almost mystical connection with codes. But her talent also drew the attention of some skeptics, particularly Commander Briggs, a hardened veteran who doubted a young woman could outshine seasoned cryptographers. A code no one could break. In early 1944, the Allied forces intercepted a new type of coded message. Unlike previous encryptions, this one seemed impenetrable. The Axis powers had upgraded their systems, and weeks of effort yielded no progress. Tension at Bletchley Park reached a boiling point. Eliza, however, thrived under pressure. She locked herself in her quarters with stacks of intercepted messages, determined to uncover the key. She worked tirelessly, fueled by endless cups of tea and sheer determination. As days turned into weeks, she began to notice subtle nuances in the patterns, tiny inconsistencies that others had overlooked. Her breakthrough came on a stormy night. As rain lashed against her window, she realized the Axis codes were using a complex system of polyalphabetic ciphers intertwined with weather patterns. The realization was both exhilarating and terrifying. She ran to inform Commander Briggs, her heart pounding with urgency. The tense unveiling. Briggs was skeptical but agreed to test Eliza's theory. The room was tense as they fed her decryption method into the Enigma machine. Slowly, the gibberish transformed into coherent text. The room erupted in applause, but Eliza remained stoic. The decoded message revealed the location of an impending attack on an Allied convoy in the Atlantic. Immediate action was required. Eliza watched as her discovery set a flurry of activity in motion. Messages were relayed, ships were redirected, and lives were saved. For the first time, she felt the weight of her work, the lives hanging in the balance with each cipher she cracked. Danger looms. As Eliza's reputation grew, so did the risks. The Axis powers suspected their codes were being compromised. In retaliation, they launched efforts to identify and eliminate the codebreakers. Bletchley Park became a target, and Eliza's life was in constant danger. One night, as she returned to her quarters, she noticed a shadow trailing her. Instinctively, she took a detour through the labyrinthine corridors of the estate. Her quick thinking allowed her to evade the unknown figure, but the incident left her shaken. It was a stark reminder that her work, and her very existence, was a threat to the enemy. Friendship and loss. Despite the high stakes, Eliza found camaraderie at Bletchley Park. She bonded with Ada, a fellow cryptographer with a penchant for storytelling, and Thomas, a reserved engineer who worked on improving the Enigma machines. The trio became inseparable, their laughter and shared determination providing a semblance of normalcy in a world consumed by war. Tragically, their bond was tested when an air raid targeted the estate. Thomas was among the casualties. His loss left a void that couldn't be filled, a reminder of the personal sacrifices made in the pursuit of victory. Eliza channeled her grief into her work, determined to honor her friend's memory by giving her all to the cause. The final cipher. As the war neared its end, Eliza faced her greatest challenge yet, a cipher so complex it seemed unbreakable. It was the Axis' last-ditch effort to secure their plans. Failure to crack it could result in devastating consequences for the Allied forces. Eliza's resolve was unshakable. She pored over the code, her mind racing against the clock. Days turned into sleepless nights, and the pressure mounted. Finally, on a quiet dawn, she found the key. The message revealed plans for a major Axis retreat, information that allowed the Allies to gain the upper hand and hasten the war's end. Recognition and silence. With victory secured, Bletchley Park celebrated. But for Eliza, the end of the war marked the beginning of a new challenge: anonymity. The work done at Bletchley remained classified, and the unsung heroes were sworn to secrecy. Eliza returned to her quiet life, her contributions unknown to the world. Years later, in her modest home, she received a letter from a grateful government, acknowledging her pivotal role in the war. It wasn't public recognition, but for Eliza, it was enough. Legacy in the shadows. Eliza Warren's story remained hidden for decades, her name absent from history books. Yet her legacy endured in the lives she saved and the peace she helped secure. She was a true cipher keeper, a guardian of secrets who worked tirelessly in the shadows to illuminate a path to victory. Her tale is a testament to the power of intellect, determination, and quiet heroism. In the grand tapestry of history, Eliza's contribution may be but a thread, but it is a thread woven with brilliance and bravery, a thread that helped shape the world.